form a great culture, and you will not go wrong. One of the conclusions behind why and how Abbie has succeeded so well in her business. Welcome to the session. Abbie, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
An absolute pleasure rather. Really excited to speak to you further and help the community understand and learn from you. I think there's plenty of things you can be sharing that's going to be useful to everyone. Thank
I
you.
hope
So let's
so.
get straight into it, my dear. Tell us a bit about your business and the kind of services you provide.
Great. Well, my name's Abby. I'm the founder of a digital marketing agency called Lala Communications. So we are either a one-stop digital marketing solution, so you can outsource your whole digital marketing department to us at a fraction of the cost of hiring in, or you can select sort of different services that would tailor basically to your business needs to help you grow or to help you succeed in sort of different elements that you may have or objectives that you have across the board. So that could be social media, from brand awareness, visibility, it could be your website, SEO, anything in the digital realm, we can do it for you.
Amazing. Sounds good. So relevant to the way the world is operating these days about going
Yeah,
digital and being digital. Love it.
absolutely.
So, and your business has grown a lot. It's exploded in a good way, exploded in the last few years. And probably people are going to be keen to know, how do we grow in such a competitive environment? There are plenty of digital marketing agencies out there, but the way you seem to have grown it is quite unique and is working. Would you like to maybe share maybe a couple of things, and you already touched on them, um, things that you've done well that's really helped you grow your business?
So we started just pre-pandemic, so it was 2019, 3 months before, but key elements that I seem to, or I believe that I've taken from different jobs over time to adhere to that success, or as very kindly you've said, success, is mainly actually building a really strong culture for the business
Mm,
and building a very strong direction. Preparation as a whole is a massive brand pillar of mine, like preparation analytics, so always looking at what you're doing, what you're achieving, but where you're going. But from a company point of view, something that is just very close to my heart is making sure that people that are around you, you nurture them, you develop them, whether it's your clients' output, your clients' sort of results, but mainly your team. So for me, I like to believe that the team's gone from strength to strength because of relationship building, whether it's people that I sort of connected with many moons ago that now work for me, or if it's people that I've met along the way, but just creating sort of like an open like door policy, but actually like executing that, if I'm honest, making sure
mm.
it's more of a flat structure, but having people be on your journey with you. And I'm quite a transparent person, to be honest, with sort of how Lala's growing, whether it's again with my team, some of my clients. And I like people to be on this journey. Everyone likes to feel important with something or be, sort of part of something that is growing or something that is starting to take form. And I think if you go back 2, 3 years ago, it was just me and one other. And now to have a team of six, I feel very sort of privileged actually, because they're all fantastic ladies. And I think that, yeah, from that point of view of nurturing them, but also giving them the time, the space to be able to be creative, to be themselves, ultimately has led to really good work output. And whilst
Mm.
I'm there building clients and trying, acquisition, they are the bread and butter of retaining them, let's be honest. And they work so very hard and they learn so much. And you just to see them progress is just absolutely amazing. But I'd probably put it down mainly to that.
So inspirational to hear that you like seeing your people grow,
Yeah.
and seems as if you invest a lot in their learning and their development, whether it's money or your time. You said you have like a weekly one-to-ones with your team
Yeah.
members to help them learn and grow. Tell us a bit more about that. As a business that's growing really fast, you need to probably invest time in the growth side of things, but also the people, no doubt, are what make the business. So,
Yeah.
how do you balance the both, growing your team and your business at the same
To be fair, to start with, it was quite difficult in the sense of when new business is coming in, you don't want to say no. So if someone
time?
says, "Oh, can I have a call now?" I at first was moving some of my one-to-ones around, and that's probably something that I've learned quite a lot. Is I stopped doing that because I didn't need to say yes at that point. We could do that half an hour later. So it's the balance of actually exactly what you say, your team and your clients, but ultimately your team also are looking forward to that one-to-one time. So they all
Mm,
get an hour a week and they can ask me anything, right? So they can go, I actually want to learn about ads. I'm like, okay, let's look at ads. They tend to spend the first 10, 15 minutes signing things off that they've waited again for that time, which to be honest, they don't need to do. They can send me stuff whenever, but we'll do that. And then we just work on whatever they want to work on, whether they want to look into something they haven't before, whether they want to pick my brain about something that I've done ages ago, whether they want to give me feedback, to be honest. It's very conversational, open chat with them to help develop them. And that I can tell with them that they look forward to that all the time. I mean, we also couple that with like weekly yoga as well, so that everyone can like relax, so that everyone has that mindfulness time, because work is, it can be intense, it's agency,
Yeah.
right? So it's quite busy and quite full on. But I have had to put boundaries in place for myself to make sure I even take that time. I give the team the time and don't move their meetings around just because they're internal. They are as important as the clients. And if they were there first, the clients, you know, can move around it. As I say, I don't think anyone would be opposed to moving a meeting an hour later if they had come in and it was like an inbound, hi, can we have a meeting? I can set the times rather than take their lead, and therefore it means that I can plan my time effectively. But I am a very logical, mathematical person, so my calendar is quite perfectly colourfully arranged to make sure that I do have that time, but also for myself. So I put blockers in as well. So I put like focus time, sort of chill time, you know, decompress time, anything like that. And I put gaps in there so that I also have the time to be able to give clients and the team their time as well.
Amazing. Sounds so inspirational. You got your kind of your diary arranged in blocks for the
Yeah.
various different things which kind of are the building blocks for growing a business, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So at this stage where you are in your business, like you've clearly grown very quickly and been successful. What's next? I mean, where are you going to go and what do you think you need as a business owner?
Well, I think so. I have sort of two avenues that I want to do over the next 5 years. So ultimately, by the end of this year, I'd like to create the Lala learning platform, and that would be leveraging AI to code and to basically create more tailored, downloadable strategy documents for people, whether it's an agency, whether it's a brand that can't quite actually afford to do full agency work, or even if it is just someone learning and a student. I actually found that a lot of the things that I was researching many moons ago were really generic and not really to the point. So I would like to make it more tailored to people's industry. And again, I think this is where AI will probably help in terms of building it and making it personalized. But I don't want to lose that personal touch. And I quite like giving my time to people and assisting people. But if you can't afford, say, like a consultancy time, it would be more something that you could log in, have a like your own portal and actually build your own back end of sort of things that you may want to do, collect different articles, collect different videos, reach out if you need to. So that's the first thing that I would like to build by the end of the year, which is ambitious, but we'll go with it. And then the second thing in the next 5 years, I'd like to open an office in South Africa. I used to live in South Africa. It holds a very special place in my heart. But with what we do digital marketing wise, there is a huge talent of content creators and photographers out there. I mean, that's probably the only thing I've tapped into at this point, and there's, I'm sure, so much more. But things like going there in the winter here is the summer there. So product photo shoots out there. I mean, one, can't say no to a bit of sun in the winter, can you? But if you go and do, say, like a drinks photo shoot for a drinks brand, you can do all your summer content in winter over there, get it all done, get it all back, and your summer campaign can be set quite far ahead. I understand people are less able to set sort of 3 to 6 month strategies as they were pre-pandemic. But if you can get elements like that prepped, and if I had a team that side that I could trust to be able to do that, then I think that would be the sort of next step for expanding globally. First one
Marvelous. I
anyway.
mean, global domination. Love the sound of that. So,
Exactly.
hey, look, South Africa is a hot area right now, well, temperature wise, but also a
Yeah,
lot of clients I work with, they're moving certain parts of the operation to SA. Great talent and covers from a very good time zone perspective as well for the UK.
definitely. Yeah, only an hour. Yeah.
Exactly, only an hour, give or take. So outsourcing and growing. What are your thoughts on that as a ways or a means of scaling a business?
Like, I think it's not a bad way of doing things, because look, ultimately people are using it quite a lot. I think I personally like to have a little bit more of a hands-on approach, and I think as long as you're able to give the time, as you know, like I have with my team here, to be able to build those side people to have them to work with you. But I think that across the world, there are so many talents that sometimes don't have the opportunities. But we work remotely, my whole team work remote, and I actually work around the clock quite a lot. So working with different people in different, and they also actually, different people, different cultures bring a whole different point of view for a lot of your
Yeah.
clients. We've worked with some non-alcoholic brands, and ultimately in the Middle East, they are, you know, very popular. So things like that, being able to outsource to them would work well for those sorts of clients. And I think from like an actual business community point of view, it's a really good thing to do. There's lots of fantastic people out there. You just got to find them.
Amazing. Talking of finding, let's talk about finding pace. Now, clearly, you're a fast-paced person. It sounds as if things change in your company very quickly, grow very quickly, projects are delivered very quickly. Often people may not be the same level of pace as you, and vice versa. You may be too quick for someone, or you may be too slow for someone, etc. And that is probably one of the key reasons why conflicts happen, not just in the workplace, but everywhere. There's two key reasons why people have conflicts. One is pace, and second is priority. So, from a pace perspective, how do you go about managing expectations, have your own expectation managed when it comes to working with people that operate at different paces?
To be fair, this is a really good question because it's something that I worked on quite a lot. So when I first started working, I didn't understand why people did not work at my pace. And I've read some really good books. One in particular actually was Surrounded by Idiots, and just learning different people's work styles. And I am completely of like aware that not everyone works at my pace, and my team are not expected to. I am a founder that sees all 15 clients, and that's absolutely fine. But I have also been doing this for sort of over 10 years. So it comes from experience. And sometimes it's not for everyone. Sometimes agency is not, you know, someone would prefer slower pace of life in from a brand point of view. But again, with clients, some of them want things slower. I've got one client that actually takes his time on sending feedback, and I'm there trying to push for this feedback, and it's that learning of understanding, like, just take a step back and let them do it. And then other
Mm,
clients are quite fast paced, but again, from experience, I can work out on initial meetings how sort of fast paced this can go. In terms of my team, I work with them and I make sure that they're happy with what they've got on. And I always ask them, have I given you too much? Is this okay? Are you okay to flip between the two? And again, it's that open communication. All you can do is communicate and say, actually, this is taking me longer. I can't turn that around so quickly, that sort of thing. And then that's when we actually jump on additional calls, and I give like my team the time, and I'm like, how can I help give you direction for this if you're lost? And then do that. And then they carry on, and they sort of then like feel a bit more confident, I say, with what they're doing. But I don't expect people to work at my fast pace, not at all.
awesome. We're glad to hear that, actually. But it sounds like some of the key principles around there was expectation discussion and then communicating around it. What's
Yeah.
expected, and then having the conversations to manage that conflict that potentially arises from being fast paced. Talking of pace, we are pacing towards the end of our conversation here, regrettably. But one quick question I'll have to squeeze in there if possible, which is what business advice would you give to your younger self back in 2019 when you were starting this business?
Okay, I have two. I think the first one is it's okay to ask for help, or it's okay to say if things are not going as well as you may think. I instill that with my team a lot, is that you're not looking like you can't do something. If you don't ask for help, you don't get, basically. And it was always one of those that I found overwhelming, that if I asked for help, I looked like I was failing. So that was something that I definitely have learned over the years, but I wish I learned earlier. My other one is to give yourself credit. I think we, as a founder, you don't have very many people that praise up, and you're constantly on the go, fast paced like I am. And I do quite often take some time sort of sit down and reflect on what I have achieved or where I've gone, and do give myself a pat on the back. There is no such thing as a mistake, in my opinion. It's learning, but sometimes when you're at the top of the company, it's hard to see that because there's always something
Yeah.
going on, something changing. So yeah, I think that reflection and being able to give yourself credit where credit's due is something that I wish I also knew a little bit earlier on.
Well, talking of giving credit where credit's due, you've been amazing. Thank you
Thank
very much for sharing so many valuable principles that I think a lot of business owners can apply to themselves and no doubt reflect on themselves to help them move forward. So you've done a hell of a lot of good karma this afternoon. Thank you very much for your time, Abbie. And no doubt we'll speak again in the future. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.